All right. So good evening, everybody. And I've been interacting with you all on the thread. I'll just introduce myself. There are two more people who have come in. Let me admit them in. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Nisha.
Hi, ma'am. Yeah, hi.
Hi, Shobna. How are you?
Hi. Hi, Kitty. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Good to see you all here.
Yes.
Yeah. So Vritti is here. Niba, hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't know everyone by name, but I will just ask you people to introduce yourself. So to begin with, I will introduce myself. I'm Kirti Bakshi. I'm a psychotherapist and I've been into this field for 20 years now and working with various age groups across various segments. So one of my signature workshop is metaphor therapy. That's what I teach. And along with that, I teach other small courses like play therapy. I teach family constellations, which is a 8 days training, and a lot of other things as and when I feel that, all right, this is something that the people need to now learn. So play therapy, I have been doing since 8 years. And I had introduced play therapy to a group of teachers. So there was a nursery kindergarten school, Montessori, in fact. There was a Montessori school which who requested me to have a special training for their teachers because what they realized was that the teachers were not able to have a conversation with children. The children weren't expressing themselves very well. And they really, Montessori believes in understanding the psyche of children. So if you would all mute yourselves, it would be great. Right. Thank you so much. So I introduced play therapy first time for a Montessori group of schools, and in order to help them understand very young children, as old as 2 and as old as 6 and 8, and went on till 9.5, 10 years old. So what we realized was that children are today so overloaded with academic pressure and talks of academics that the social emotional development somewhere is kind of getting amiss. It's not holistically development. Although we all like to say that we don't put academic pressure. Even if we don't, the system is doing it. The environment is doing it. So some children are growing academically very well, but at the same time, they are not able to make friends. They are not expressing themselves, or the parent generally feels that my child doesn't open up to you. These are some of the common areas where I have heard people come and tell me that, when my child comes back from school, won't tell me everything. I get to know from others, I get to know from outsiders. And that's where they realize that there's a huge need for counselors in every school where the child can open up and talk about themselves. However, counseling for children still remains a taboo, and not many parents actually take a child for counseling unless there is a major issue or the school insists. I have seen parents come to me because I have a tie up with many schools and nurseries. I see parents come to me only when the school is insisted that they come to us. And then also there's a reluctance and there's a feeling that, oh, I know this about my child, I can manage this. I understand all of it. It comes from a deep parental concern that, we don't like to believe that our children are not telling us everything. We don't like to believe that we don't have a handle over our children. But the fact being, today's world, because the amount of cartoons, the amount of media that the children are watching and the way they are processing information, we have no clue to that. There is something called as a horizontal development and something called as a vertical development. Horizontal development is the eating, sleeping, processing, studying patterns of my child. The vertical development, however, is how the child is beginning to process information, make a view of their world. By the time they are 9, they have constructed a view of the world. So the inner world is developing very differently, and we realize that only when a child goes into a behavior that we cannot understand. So the parents and the teachers, all of us who are handling children, are trying our best to know about our psychology, our parenting patterns. But the subject that we are working with, The subject is a child, and we really don't know much about child psychology. Today, this field has become so big and has become so important for everyone to be aware of it, that it is mandatory that if you have a child, you have there's a background noise coming from somewhere. Oh God, oh God, oh God. I'm muting all, okay? Yeah. So today, this child psychology world has become so pertinent and so important to the educators and parents. I believe the moment you have a child, like I've seen parents go and take prenatal classes. I have seen them do Garbha Sanskar classes. I have seen them play music to children in their womb. But the moment the child is delivered, we don't want to kind of maybe reluctance in understanding that the child has a fully developed inner psychology and that we must know about it. So I think it's very important that the subject is studied. We are studying ourselves. We attend parenting workshops and we understand that this is the way to go about parenting. But do I know what kind of a child I have? So the children's brain, by the time they are 6 or 7, is fully developed into a personality. Do I know what my child's predominant personality is? So you would be having children who are falling into either the left brain hemisphere, the right brain hemisphere, the left one, the left two, the right one, the right two. They could be a cross brain personality. Each one of these personalities is going to behave differently and therefore will require different handling. So there is no blanket workshop in parenting that can teach me how to be an effective parent unless I don't know the personality of the child. So if it's my adult partner, by experimenting and by communication, I understand this is what my partner wants. This is how my partner receives information. This is how my partner gets irritated. These are the strengths and weaknesses of my partner. With our children, we have expectations that they are perfect beings. The children feel the parents are perfect beings. And that is the exact area where the problems begin to happen. We all believe that my child is taking in the information the way I am sending it. But what happens is, depending on their brain type, the communication that is given to them actually takes a flip inside their head and gets settled into different belief systems. Unless I don't know the personality, I will not know what is the development of this child. So play therapy came around only to understand how to work with children. It's a very simple, effective, yet difficult area. Difficult because understanding a subject of a child with an adult brain becomes relatively very difficult because no matter what we do, the adult in us will always come up. So play therapy is one such space where you can create an environment where you are only understanding the child. You aren't even trying to coach. You are not teaching. You are not looking for teaching moments. And trust me, if you get into the brain of the brain of the child says like the whole environment is busy stimulating me to learn. But I don't want to all the time be taught. I don't want to all the time be instructed. I don't want all the time to be told, okay, now it is your playtime. You go and play this, you go and play that, or play whatever you like. But make sure you don't make noise. Make sure you don't fight. Make sure nobody makes a fool out of you. Make sure you stand up for yourself. Make sure. And there are so many conditions attached to play. And then there is a supervised play wherein the parent is trying to see, is my child the leader in the group? Is my child being bullied in the group? Is my child standing up for themselves? Is my child able to communicate? Is my child being given a prominence place? This is the mindset of an average parent, I'm telling you. Because most of the parents will come and tell me, okay, my child gets constantly bullied by friends and she can't stand up for herself. She can't say no. My neighbor's daughter is smarter and she always is able to say a no. And all the games are decided by other children. Sometimes parents go down to that kind of hurting feeling that my child is not able to stand up for themselves. Now, why is this happening? Today, I have cases with me of children, a class 8 boy who went to his mother yesterday and asked her that I have finally decided, with a knife in his hand, that I have finally decided that I'm going to kill you all. Who wants to go first? It's a class 8 boy. Very Indian background. There's nothing American about him, nothing. He is, or any other country origin. But this is the psyche. That's what we are seeing. There's one child who was brought in who was 5 years old and who told his parents that I feel like taking you all, putting you on a rope, tying you all around like this, swinging you all and throwing you all out of my house. These are all the statements. And then there is a child who came in and the mother said that, my child is not paying attention. And when I did a play therapy session with that child and I asked her that if I give you magic, yeah, and there's one thing you want to change, okay, imagine you have this magic and you want to change one thing. What do you think you will change? You'll be surprised by her answer. She said, I want to change my mother. And I generally record these sessions so that the parent can take it from the horse's mouth. And the mother was surprised because she came to me saying that my husband is very strict with her. He shouts and screams, and that's why I think she's losing interest. But this child comes and says this, I want to change my mother because she shouts at my father. Now, this is the way the child is processing information. And we are very clueless about how children process information. So that is where play therapy really helps. The play therapy is a big profession for those who are uninitiated into the world of therapy or into the world of children coaching. It's a huge profession because it's in demand. So motivational coaches or children coaches are so required today. And they are really the people that children can bond with. And they are really somebody who is in great demand. Not necessarily you have to be a psychotherapist and you have to be a psychologist. These are small tools which you require and just a brain that can wire itself to children. And that's what play therapy is about. That's why play therapy is independent of any psychology background. It is just about child psychology, using the right techniques and working with children. So how many of us over here are aware of the fact that a child can have a secondary language delay?
Please come again, Kirti. Secondary what, Kirti?
Secondary language delay. Do you know, we have lost India to this problem, to the Britishers, because we were all very good at processing the mother tongue. But there is something called as a secondary language delay, which means I can learn one language, but the moment I have to learn a second language, I cannot absorb it. And that's why English is a big business. So there are people who are there in like studying in the English medium schools and yet have not mastered the art. They are in that medium for 8 to 10 hours a day and still haven't picked up the language. How many of us actually have seen that the language and the auditory skills are interconnected? So I've had children who have been brought into me by saying that she doesn't respond in class. She looks blankly at the teacher and she always is not listening to instructions. When I observe this child closely, I realize she has an auditory problem. She has a hearing problem. She couldn't hear. And I sent her for an audiogram, and you'll be surprised her left ear is just not working. And in the class where she's sitting on the third last bench, the teacher's table is on the left side. And when the teacher talks, the girl is blank. She can't understand. And the mother kept changing tuition teacher after tuition teacher in order to do concept formation. With the tuition teachers, she would pick up a little because they were a little closer to her. But in the classroom, she wouldn't pick up anything. So these are the very little complexities that children go through. And we need to really be able to understand them, motivate them. It does not work if we motivate them in adult ways. because the view of the child till 9 years is it's I, me, my family, my friend circle, a little bit of my city, probably country is just coming in. Life is nowhere in their view. But what we try to do is we talk to them life. We tell them, if you study now, it will be so good for you when you grow up. They can't relate to that because their brain is yet the circumference of understanding has yet not evolved and developed that much. So we need to talk to them in their circumference. So what can you talk, what you cannot talk is the mainstay of therapy. So now what are the tools that we use? Are we going to have a conversation with the child? No. The child's main language is play. And that's why play therapy. And it is through play that they will absolutely reflect, think, take in information and express themselves. So that's why we do play therapy. And we use many techniques. We use sand, we use puppets, we use dolls, we use clay, we use drawings, we use puzzles, we use a lot of fantasy, we use a lot of television scripting. We do all of this in order to get to the child. So the first thing is preparing the mind of the parent or the caretaker or the therapist to specifically keep a session time aside, do a small little meditation before you are starting to work with your child. Kill the teacher in you, like literally kill the teacher in you. Kill the preacher in you. Kill the parent in you. Only after that, you can have a 1 hour conversation. And children's session won't last more than half an hour to 40 minutes. And in that one conversation, you can change things around. So I've got videos during the workshop. I will share those videos of those sessions with you, where we've handled very complex kind of issues with children. So play therapy is going to be revolved. You have the Play Therapy Association of India. You have a lot of books written on play therapy. You have a lot of research material available on play therapy. It's an ever-growing kind of field. So the content of the workshop revolves around, first of all, the mindset of the people who are handling children during the session. So let's say if you're a parent and you decide to do every Thursday evening a play therapy session with your child, what should be your mindset? If you've had a troubling, harrowing day, do not have the session at that time. If you're yourself not in a good space, don't even try, because that's not going to work. If you have not done your meditation, and if you have not calmed yourself down, and if you have not made an empty slate, don't even work with children, because information is going to bounce back. It's not going in. So there's a lot of mental preparation that we require when we are going to work with children. And the issues that children are facing today, you have different generation. You have the millennials, you have generation X, Y, and Z. And all these generations think differently. And they're neurologically differently wired. So we need to understand how their wiring is different. How is the millennial different from the Gen Z? How is the Gen Z different from the baby boomers? So these are some general knowledge things that we must know about, because that will help us to design communication styles with them. How are we going to handle parents at conflict? Like parents often fight over small issues, which to the child's mind is the big issue. Because the children's world is a mother and father who are ideal figures. And if they are having an argument, to the child's mind, it's a war. So how are we going to handle that? How do we handle parents who are separating apart? How do we handle children who have developed low self-esteem, or some of them are born with low self-esteem? On the other hand, what are children with high IQ and gifted children? What is the benchmark of a gifted child? How do you recognize a gifted child? How do you handle a gifted child? There is so much in this field to know, and we'll be covering most of these aspects during the workshop. If you all have any particular questions pertaining to what you all would like to learn and what are the other questions, I would be willing to answer them. But first of all, the scope of the field is very huge. I'm giving you a broad spectrum view of the field first. The field is very much in demand. Motivational coaches for children are in demand, in need, in coaching classes at individual levels, at parenting levels. Now, the second thing is, do you need a psychology background to be a play therapist? Not necessary. Is there business in the market? Yes, there is enough business in the market. Is it a very, very difficult thing to do? No, it's a simple thing and we have to unlearn a lot. Are we going to learn how to be a play therapist? And my answer is you got to unlearn to be a play therapist. The problem is we've learned too much and we're trying to put that on the kid and the kid doesn't want it. So we got to unlearn a lot. And then we will go by simple techniques. So is play therapy complex? No, it's a simple world. It's a very simple world. It's that simple that our mind can't even get it because we have become complicated in our thought processes. Children are not that complicated. So we'll be covering starting from the history of play therapy to the tools and techniques of play therapy, to the psychology of children, to the problems faced by children, the psycho-educational problems and the psychological problems, and the way to deal with them through 6 different techniques. And it will be a practice-based workshop where you all will be learning. Those of you who can join us would be great. Those who can't join for whatever reasons, if you all have questions that I can answer, I would be really glad to do that. So it's over to you all now for asking any questions.
Hello, ma'am. Surabhi here.
Yeah, Surabhi, tell me.
Ma'am, this I want to ask. This therapy can be applied to the child. What will be the age group for the child?
Normally a speaking age group, like 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the child must speak actually.
Yeah, so they should be able to communicate, but they do communicate a lot, even otherwise. But
okay.
2.5, 3 is like a really good age to work with them. But to understand their psyche, you need to be, as soon as you become a parent, you need to know it.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, this is Nibha this side.
Yeah, Nibha, tell me.
I wanted to know, can we apply these therapies on neurotypical children?
On? No.
On neurotypical.
I get that. So on children who are Asperger's or children, slow learners, yes. But children who are Asperger's or children who are autistic, the field is very different. Because autistic children will respond to play therapy, but you will have to be extremely, extremely diligent and patient because they hit back. You know, an autistic child is going to hit you back, like they are physically with you. So you will be able to seep in. Let's say a normal child will absorb maybe 50% of the spoken communication, and an autistic child will absorb only 2%.
Okay.
So the retention and the diligence is very important. The techniques will remain the same, but what you can expect out of the therapy will differ.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
And this therapy works for if child is for their emotion management.
Absolutely, absolutely. Emotion management. Yeah, Vruti.
Particularly at the age of, after 8, because they have changed a lot after 8.
They change.
Yes.
Between 7 to 9, you see drastic changes in the personality of the child. Yeah. It works at emotional, behavior, expression, all levels.
Okay.
It will work. And it's not only to make a child better, like you don't really have to have a misbehaved child to use a play therapy with them. You may just use it as a bonding technique. Like you want to bond with them. So even for that, it works fantastically well.
Okay.
So are there any other questions that you all have to ask?
Ma'am, hi, this is Zareen here.
Yeah, Zareen,
I wanted to ask you, so as a teacher, if I have children who, since the last year, we've been working with them through their parents.
Yeah.
And, there have been some children who, maybe I don't know if it's related to the corona or whatever,
Hmm.
but some parents are finding it difficult. Would you also be helping us if we have some examples and some cases that we
Yeah,
talk to you
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Maybe you could throw some light on that.
Why not?
Yeah, would that
Yeah.
be okay? Should we send you in an email or maybe once we start? Yeah, great.
Once we start, yeah, of course, why not? That's going to be always there. We need to be there for the kids.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's absolutely no issue with that.
Okay, great, ma'am. So I'll send those to you. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, that's a question. Like before the class, we should be keep something in our hand.
I will send you all. I will send you all the details. You just need some basic toys and some basic colors. And otherwise, how to make your play therapy kit, I will be teaching you all how to make a play therapy kit.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, Shobna, you had something to ask?
Yeah. So can you tell us now? Will you be let us say we contact a school or some, to network to make them understand we're therapists.
Yeah.
So would you be guiding us to, how to handle that, Kirti?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's like, how do you project yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Thank you, Kirti.
So are there any other questions that we have?
So, ma'am, what will be the, ma'am Rashmi here, what will be the timings
It's
of the
1:30
program?
to 5:30 and we'll have 2 breaks in between.
So it's 1 day, right?
2 days.
2 days, 1:30 to 5:30.
5:30.
Okay.
Can go a little above depending on the length of practice sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, only I think my school will start from June or July. So I will have cases in my hand in July.
Why can't you do it on Zoom? It can all be done on Zoom.
No, we are starting a school only in July. I don't have children right now.
Okay, doesn't matter. Still get your practice on, no? You will need a lot of reading to be done. You can start already talking to your neighboring children or go sit in a park and talk to children. Go down in your building and start talking to children. It's an art which you will have to develop. I will introduce you to the skill, but to master the skill, you will need to practice.
Right. So in case if that time, if I'm stuck, because it will be 2 months when we are doing it right now. And after 2 months, when I start this
repeat session, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or else maybe for the queries, I can get a help in June, July also. If
that you can get anytime.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You can get anytime.
Ma'am, on that note, the repeat what you said, you will be doing it again soon or?
So what happens is there are only 4 weekends in a month, out of which 2 weekends always go for a metaphor. And 1 weekend, I generally try to do either a play therapy or a social confidence or a relationship. 1 weekend I keep free. So as and when the rotation comes, I continue to do it. But yeah, it's going to happen. It's not a one-off thing. Like
because the 10th, the timing, it's here 1.5 hours.
No problem. It's going to be definitely on the block, but in rotation.
Okay. 11th, it's okay. But 10th, I'm trying to, but I don't know what will happen now.
Okay. We'll see. Yeah.
But that will be a great help if we can repeat, once
of course,
again the next session.
You can repeat. Why not?
Okay.
You can repeat. That's not a problem at all. Yeah. So are there any other questions we have?
No, not really.
All right, fine. So I hope to see you all at the workshop. Those of you who want to make it would be great. And those for some reason cannot, let me know if you want to be on our mailing list so we can keep you posted. And can I also request you all to forward the message to every parent that you know. I'm basically trying to reach out to parents because that's exactly where I feel this thing has a scope. And every parent needs to know this. So my teachers are definitely on the block, but I'm trying to reach out to maximum parents. So if you can put that up and push the message, that would be great to reach out to more parents. Because once you'll attend the workshop, you will know that why parents need to attend it. And I'm very passionate about educating a parent about, because I think you can nip the problem in the bud. if we have given the parent the lens to view children differently, a lot of problems can be arrested before they grow big. Right? So I'll hope to see you all, and we'll be in touch. Right, friends?
All right.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Thank
See
you
you
so
all.
much.
Thank you for
Yeah.
your time. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. See you, Shobna.